dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, Sevagoth Prime Access coming out in 9 days with the Lotus Eaters update. I'm going to be showing you some of the most elite strategies for preparing for Sevagoth Prime Access, and any Prime Access for that matter, is going to be the Loot Pinata Kua Lich method. I get a lot of questions about this on stream, and yeah, it's a lot more of a late game strategy, guys. This is not meant for early game players at all, so just a heads up, do not do this unless you know exactly what you're doing, okay? We're going to be going over the strategy today. And yeah, I really do appreciate the support in the recent videos, guys. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you have not subbed this channel yet, we do daily Warframe video uploads. So build videos, strategy guide videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff. You're in the right place for Warframe content. Thanks for all the support on the recent videos. All right, so what is the strategy we're talking about today? And also, do you have enough time to do this before Sevagoth Prime? You really don't. This strategy is meant for long-term like investment, basically. You're going to be doing this for over months. And Sevagoth Prime comes out in 9 days. So this strategy is not really meant for 9 days, although I'm technically doing it for 9 days. If you don't play a ton of disruption and fissures, this is not going to work for you. But basically what we're doing is we are taking a Kua Lich, and we are using the Kua Lich stolen loot mechanic to stack up over 1,000 traces for use on the day of the new Prime Access. If you look on the screen right now, I've got 1,328 traces recovered from my Lich, and word on the street is that this strategy can go above the 1,800 traces cap. Now, that would be a lot of farming to get that, because the Lich only steals like a percentage of your stuff. But yeah, just to show how this actually works in practice, we look over here. I've currently got 18 Void Traces. If you have 100 Void Traces, you can make a Relic Radiant, and that increases the drop rate of the gold part. So when Sevagoth Prime comes out, you would get all your Sevagoth Prime relics, and you'd want to radiant them to get the the golden Sevagoth helmet, or whatever it ends up being. So the more traces you have, the more relics you can rad, the more chances you have of these rare parts. Now, the way we utilize that is that, well, first, you want to farm your maximum traces the day before, but that's when the Lich comes in. After we get our 1,800 for the day, we don't want to have to go farm 1,800 more traces again. That's when the Lich comes in, and it will give us that big chunk of traces. Now, how do you do that? Well, first up, I just made a Lich. Any kind of Lich will do. I just grabbed the first Kua Lich I saw, and yes, it must be a Kua Lich, guys. A Corpus Lich does not steal traces, and a Corpus Lich does not have as good of planets. So, we got a Kua Lich from Cassini on Saturn, and what we did after that is that it starts on Earth. We got it moved from Earth to Mars. Why did we get it moved from Earth to Mars? Well, because one of the best traces farm missions in the whole game, Olympus, is on Mars. And I have a video about a meta traces farm I'll post in the description. But basically, yeah, we just keep running this Olympus fissure over and over again whenever it appears, and we get about 100 traces stolen each run. I'm going to show you that in practice right here with some gameplay footage. So we did a, not even a super long run, probably like about an hour, maybe 2 hours long run here on Olympus Steel Path, and we get to extraction. You'll see the Lich has stolen some loot from us. So we just do this over and over again until the Lich is jam-packed full of loot. So the Lich stole 7 Steel Essence. It stole some stuff that doesn't really matter, honestly, but it stole 101 traces, the main thing I care about here. So 101 traces thrown into the Lich's like loot pinata, basically. So if we were to do that, what we just did right there, 18 times, or rather 17 more times, we would have our maxed out 1,800 traces. And again, word on the street is that this can go above your maximum traces cap. So if you had a bunch of time or a bunch of farming ahead of you and you're running this mission like, 30 times, you could maybe even walk away from killing your Lich with 3,000 traces. I showed that clip at the beginning here when I killed my Lich. I just basically didn't have enough time to do it. As long as you keep running the mission, you can keep stacking up and up and up. But yeah, the traces, I'm not sure if they can go above, but some people are saying it can, so you'll have to see about that. But yeah, the reason you do this is because you can rad up to 36 relics on day 1 instead of just 18 relics on day 1 if you utilize the Loot Pinata Lich. So, just explaining exactly how this loop works, and again, guys, only late game players should be doing this, because not only do you not have enough time to stack this up, because you only got 9 days, but also, while you have a Lich active, you cannot have another Lich. So make sure you have every Kua weapon you want before you even consider doing this, okay? So the loop is create the Lich on Cassini Center. Any Lich will do, but maybe if you don't have a Lich weapon, make a Lich weapon that you actually want. Then the Lich will be instantly moved to Earth. Move it from Earth to a planet that you want. The reason I don't recommend Earth is because the physics on Earth are not that great. You got Mariana, but the Lich steals a percentage of the traces. So when you're doing a Mariana run, it's going to steal like 1 or 2 traces. Not really that much. So I'd recommend that you go to an endurance run planet. Mars is the second planet. I'd recommend this one as you have Olympus, one of the best traces far in the game. There's some other fissures too, but they're mostly like exterminates and stuff, so don't worry about that. As far as other planets to move your Lich to, Ceres, Saturn, and I think the last one is it Sedna or Kuva Fortress? Kuva Fortress could be good for Tav-Uni, a Kuva survival node. You could do that pretty mindlessly and be there for a long time. But I do recommend survival or disruption over this. But the thing is, there's also disruption on the Kuva Fortress as well. So if you want to make a level 5 Lich, be my guest. But yeah, once you've got your Lich all fattened up, you've done lots of void fissures, they've stolen lots of traces, and then the day of Sevagoth Prime access comes out, that's when you kill your Lich. Once you kill that Lich, that's when you get that massive drop of loot, and my Lich had stolen an Archon Shard at this point, a Tau Archon Shard. So you get all that loot back, and yes, it does seem like they count it properly, so lots of worthless mods, lots of, random resources, but mainly the traces there at the bottom, guys. You'll be getting those traces on day 1 of Sevagoth access. And once you turn in all your relic packs and stuff, that will allow you to have, tons and tons of Sevagoth relics, hopefully. So that's going to be basically the main recommendations here, guys. And again, if you are not majorly prepared for this stuff, don't do it. Also, maybe if you're watching this video right now, don't do it, because I've only done 1 mission of this so far. So my Lich has 101 traces. Does it feel like worth killing a Kuva Lich for 101 traces? I don't think so. But the thing is, I'll be running a bunch of fissures pretty soon, so I can stack up those traces. 101 per, I think I've got like 160, 180 stolen before if you do a max traces run. We only did 1,300 in that run. It can stack up over time. I'm going to see, if I can get enough disruptions between now and Sevagoth Prime access, I'll see if I can get it above 2,000. But if it does work, yeah, 5,000 traces on day 1. 8,000 traces on day 1, if that actually works. But that would be a lot of grinding and a lot of time. That would be like basically 80 disruptions to get 8,000 traces at that rate. So, unless you're playing 80 disruptions, level multiple thousand every time in the next 9 days, maybe hold this strategy for the next Prime Access, guys. And yeah, if I were you, and you want to utilize this strategy, I'd say that the day after Sevagoth comes out, or right nearby when Sevagoth Prime comes out, get that Lich created and start stacking it up immediately. On my previous Protea Lich, I think it was like 2 or 3 months I had that Lich sitting around to get it stacked up to this massive Lich loot amount. So that's going to be my main strategies for you guys. And again, if just because I'm doing this does not mean you need to do it, guys. It is an extra layer of prepared that you don't need. Your typical prepared stuff is stacking up Syndicate Relic Packs, stacking up, Fortuna Relic Packs, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be more important than getting an extra burst of traces at the end. If you really want to prepare for traces for Sevagoth Prime, just get your 1,800 the day before the access comes out, so you can rad 18 relics right when it comes out, okay? This is only for extremely over-prepared situations or for people trying to make a big plat on day 1. But spoiler alert, the prices of these Prime sets don't really stay very high on day 1 for very long. You basically got 2 hours. It's another reason why this stuff is helpful to get that instant rad relics to instantly get that stuff sold. So, see you guys next time. Good luck with the strategy if you do end up using it. And yeah, another new strategy video tomorrow, or maybe a build video. You guys take it easy. See you next time. Bye.